Our top story first. 2,500 crore rupees. That's how much money marketers and advertisers spent on cricket last year. But like they say, all good things must come to an end. And so is the case with cricket. India's disastrous tour of Australia has fans baying for blood and marketers demanding more bang for their buck. Nikhil Shivadas tells you how India's favourite sport is losing its winning edge.
Once upon a time, a determined Team India won a fairy tale victory in the 2011 ICC World Cup.
And he'll get it from Mr. Sharad Pawar, the president of the ICC. The party begins in Mumbai.
A victory that turned them into the nation's darlings literally overnight. But not all fairy tales have a happy ending, as Team India was soon to find out. A string of losses since last year has turned the team into a pariah, and the country is not in a forgiving mood.
My first reaction, really we are very disappointed.
India hasn't performed well in the last 8 test matches overseas, so it is quite apparent that the team has some drawbacks.
I am a very crazy cricket fan. I am very much disappointed.
Current scenario, it so obviously looks like the team needs a complete revamp.
Hey, that can be close. It is. He's got him. Sachin, the third Indian wicket, walks back to the pavilion.
So why are people turning away from the country's most popular sport?
Tendulkar goes for 7.
The primary reason is the lack of performance.
Yes, they have. Wickets are tumbling. The West Indies on the ascendant.
Team India has had a string of losses since its euphoric World Cup victory.
Yuvraj out for 23.
It has lost its #1 test ranking to England and failed to make a comeback during the Australian tour last month.
India all out for 201. Yes, a clean sweep for the Australians.
The blame for this could just be because of too much cricket.
This is their 8th consecutive loss overseas.
The Indian team has been playing almost back-to-back matches last year, and the Asia Cup and the IPL are coming up in March and April this year. Experts believe that this hectic schedule means that the team's performance could potentially suffer in upcoming matches as well.
Third wicket this morning.
We have been playing the same team again and again for each and every match, I think for each and every tour, and they look a tired lot. But unfortunately, the part is that I think we don't have any players, I think, who would, they play at the international level.
But this may be far away. Other sports may have apex organizations that can control the way the game is played to prevent overusing players. But power in cricket lies within the individual member countries. So a central body like the ICC cannot set terms to individual bodies like the BCCI, which are free to set schedules and matches as they see fit. That problem is made worse by the fact that cricket is an economic cash cow, with the IPL by itself netting the BCCI over $4 billion or 20,000 crore rupees in 2010-11.
The pressure mounts.
Experts believe that the sheer numbers involved means that reforms of any kind will be unlikely in the short term.
But it's out.
The game has been trundling along, and it has been, as you said, generating a lot of cash for a lot of people. So where is the initiative? Where is the incentive to reform and to do things that a lot of people who've been watching this team for a while have been saying the board should be doing?
Too much cricket on the field has also meant that India is now facing a glut of televised cricket. That, coupled with a losing streak, means fewer viewers. Research from TAM Sports indicates that while cricket-based programming and content rose threefold since 2003, the average time spent by people on cricket has decreased all the way until 2011, when the World Cup drew in a surge in numbers. Research from AMAP indicates that the ratings for the ICC World Cup were at its highest during the final match, averaging at 21.4. That means an estimated 67.6 million viewers tuned in to watch Team India win the World Cup. However, post the victory, the average TVR, which represents the percentage of viewers in a given area in a minute, has fallen to 1.15, with the recent Australian tour seeing average ratings dip to as low as 0.7 to 0.8.
The average ratings of India post the World Cup have gone to 1.15 as against 1.21 in 2010. So there is a slight dip there, about 5% dip there.
That's bad news for advertisers and marketers in a cricket-crazy country like India, which has over 176 million viewers following the game. Cricket last year was responsible for more than a quarter of the country's $2.4 billion advertisement revenue pie. However, continued poor performance could not just turn viewers away, but even marketers as well. Typically, a large corporate could invest anywhere between 10 to 50 crore rupees every year on advertising spots as well as in creating marketing campaigns based around cricket. But the continued poor performance has caused many corporates to complain that brand cricket is overvalued, with returns not matching the investments. RCom, which has advertised heavily during the Australia series, has decided not to advertise in the forthcoming tri-series between India, Australia and Sri Lanka.
Clearly it's a commercial-led decision, and given the existing economics of one-day series, we've decided to just be out of it.
But the disenchantment of marketers with cricket is not new. According to reports, no brand has signed an Indian cricketer as its endorser since Gulf Oil signed Indian captain Mahendra Singh Dhoni for its lubricant brand Gulf in September last year.
Thank you, sir.
That's not all. Coca-Cola had planned 6.5 million Sachin special cans to celebrate his 100th international century. But the company is still waiting for the magical moment as 10 months have passed since Sachin scored his 99th century. And Canon, which has Sachin as its brand ambassador, is planning not to use him in its advertising this season.
Sachin does give us the reason to make ourselves and our brands more meaningful to consumers. The only thing that is right now missing is the positive sentiments by which people will begin to like this communication, see this communication and absorb this communication. These positive sentiments are created by winning the cricket games. That's the only thing that is missing.
Several marketers are now asking broadcasters to ink viewership-linked deals that guarantee returns, failing which premium rates would not be paid. The system, also known as the cost per rating point system, has found favour with international broadcasters. But Indian broadcasters have traditionally been against this. That's because channels themselves have no guarantees when they bid for telecast rights.
If you look at IPL, the reach went from 140 million to 160 million, whereas though the ratings fell, but the overall reach went up. And when people buy cricket, or the premium that they pay for cricket is to build that reach and not so much so the ratings. And people need to understand that.
If you see the amount of negativity which is surrounding the cricket coverage in the last few weeks because of the overseas performance, this is a natural expectation of advertisers. But I don't really put too much into this because one or two series where the numbers are much better, things come back to normal.
So what does the current impasse mean? Experts say that marketers and advertisers will revalue cricket as a brand. This means lower ad budgets and lesser endorsements for cricketers and lower ad rates for broadcasters. Advertising spots for the recent matches were sold for an estimated 70 to 80,000 rupees for test matches and 2.75 to 3.25 lakh rupees for ODIs.
Sponsors are going to say, listen, you say 5-day test match. We attach our promotional schemes for 5-day expected promotion and the test match gets over in 2 days. So who's going to pay for the balance 3 days? So I think the arrogance of pricing will come down to a level of attitudinal and a bit more friendly than the past.
Experts expect that these rates will fall by as much as 20% this year. But that's not to mean that cricket will not retain its position as the most popular segment with advertisers. One good series could well mean that the game will turn on its head. After all, public memory is short and everyone loves fairy tales.
Indeed, but the question is, who will marketers turn to as cricket loses its sheen? That story is coming up after this short break.